Self-mastery. They have difficulties with energizing noble passions because they want to avoid conflict at all costs. They have no passions. They don't want passions. So it's difficult to energize noble passions if you just don't want to have them. They are afraid of passions. They want everything to be rational, cool, peaceful, dispassionate. So their strong point is not passion. So the very problem, the very challenge here in terms of self-mastery is energizing, trying to, a little bit of passion that you have, just energize it more. Push it. Everything you feel of value or something that tells you move forward, just push that, push that. But they have no problem with you subduing evil passions just because they don't have them. They are not insulted or provoked to anger. He can stay calm under pressure. He exhibits a dispassionate approach to reality. In terms of justice, so they are good, in fact, in communication. They are good at building the common good. He tends to be sensible and respectful, to be an excellent listener and have great empathy for others. They practice empathy very much. Remember in Finland, when you begin to speak, people listen to you until you're finished. Will never interrupt you. In the phlegmatic culture, you never interrupt someone. Let him speak till the end. And that's why people know that they must speak very quickly and very short in order to respect the others, because they know nobody will interrupt you. So it's very pleasant to work with Finns, very, very pleasant. It's very pleasant to work with Finno-Hungarian people because of this phlegmatism, which is this. It's they listen to you. They listen. They are good at building the common good. He tends to have a strong sense of obligation and cooperation, but in terms of common good, he is prone to passiveness. So this is a negative aspect of it. They have phlegmatic people have a strong sense of obligation and cooperation. This is something very noticeable when you go to the north of Europe and in Finland. Obligation and people they feel very much their duties. I have to. It's my job. It's my duty. I have to do it. It's typical of the phlegmatic culture. Very serious, very serious. I have said yes, I have to do it. It's the opposite. I mean, from that point of view, it's the opposite of sanguine. It's a culture of seriousness in professional obligations, very serious. And they are very skeptical when people from the south comes to the north to make business with them. They will ask a lot of guarantees. A lot. But when they deal with their own people, no guarantee. They know. It's a structure of duties, obligations. You do what you say. Seriousness. It's very good for professional life. Very, very good. Make things very easy. But it's hard to build a common good if your phlegmatism becomes passiveness. Because common good requires activeness from the part of people. And phlegmatic people are not very active by definition. They can be active if they develop the virtue of audacity, boldness, but they have to work on that. And then on the magnanimity side, they have big problems. So the magnanimity is the virtue that is going to be a challenge for the phlegmatic people. Because the contemplation is not going to be easy. He tends to go along with the status quo and conform to the expectations and goals of those around him. It's a typical functionary. A phlegmatic functionary. Which is, I have obligations, I do it. But don't expect from me more than that. But what I have to do, I'll do it. I know what I have to do. And this I do it perfectly, which is really good. But creativity, breaking the status quo, getting out of the routine, this is not me. I'm not interested in that. Because this means war, passion. And I hate those things. I want peace, but I want peace at any price. Action. He tends to perceive tasks as formidable and obstacles as unsurmountable. He tends to love security and routine. So action is not going to be a strong point either. So magnanimity is the challenging virtue for the phlegmatic. Melancholic people dream, they like to dream. Their world inside, the spiritual world inside themselves is very rich. But they have difficulties to transform their dreams into missions, into action. They have to build audacity for that. The phlegmatic people, their difficulty is that they don't even dream. You see the difference? They don't even dream. Biologically, they are not dreamers. So for them, the challenge is not audacity. The challenge is deeper. It's magnanimity. You have to make him dream. You have to make him set high goals. You have to help him get out of the status quo, the routine. It's another challenge. The melancholic, the challenge is action. For the phlegmatic, it's the dream. It's magnanimity, greatness. It's a key virtue for them that they have to develop since they're very young. You have to help them dream. We will see this afternoon. We'll have 1 hour discussion on how do you develop magnanimity. And you will see this is not only for the phlegmatic people, it's for everyone. Because all of us, we have to grow in magnanimity. Even those for whom it's not a big challenge, we still have to grow in magnanimity. But for the phlegmatic, it is the challenge number 1. Phlegmatics are fundamentally challenged by magnanimity. Examples of phlegmatic people that have changed the world. So there have been a lot of phlegmatic people that have been very magnanimous. I told you yesterday about Darwin Smith at Kimberly Clark. He was a phlegmatic nature. When Jim Collins went to see him, after he wrote his book, he couldn't believe it, that this was the guy who did what I know he did. Because the guy was shy, dispassionate, hiding away. He said, yeah, I don't understand, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit, why? Because Darwin Smith was a man of character. He was phlegmatic, but he had an incredible magnanimity. He was a magnanimous phlegmatic. Abraham is a model of the gospel, not in the gospel, in the Bible, of a phlegmatic personality that was an incredible leader. He was phlegmatic. How do we see this? He doesn't like wars, Abraham. When his cousin Lot, remember, wants to take a piece of land, and Abraham doesn't want to fight with him. Okay, take it. I take the other one. You take what you want, and I take the other piece. He doesn't want to fight with his wife, Agar. He doesn't want to fight with anyone. He's always agree with people. He's an incredible personality, Abraham. There is no fight in his life. He's always agree. He wants to agree with everyone. He's a diplomat. But this guy is an incredible dreamer. He had a mission, and he moved forward until the very last day of his life. he was very audacious. He left his country, he left his people. So he was a very, very magnanimous phlegmatic. But he's not a choleric at all. He's not a melancholic at all. This guy Abraham is a phlegmatic. His story is the story of phlegmatism, in which you have a man that built an incredible capacity for magnanimity.